Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This is the 11th canto, and it is very subtle. It gives so many subtle instructions. Very, very valuable. Of course, everything is valuable in the Vedas. From the A to the B to the C to the D to the E to the F to the G. Everything is valuable and very conclusive, comprehensive. Really, the Vedas are a masterpiece of divine delivery of spiritual knowledge. So today we read from Yuga Avatars, 11th canto, Chapter 5, text number 6. Kalmani akovidita stapta murka pandita manina vadanti chattu kamuda jaija majya Jirotsuka. Those ignorant of how to act without accruing results, since they are proud and foolish and think themselves learned, speak sweet words amongst themselves because of being bewildered by the promising words of the Vedas. Commentary. Thank you. They are ignorant because they do not know how to do activities without creating bondage. Since they are proud and since they are fools, thinking themselves learned, they do not ask from those who know. They become bewildered by sweet words such as, "We became immortal by drinking soma," or "Those who observe chaturmasya sacrifices become immortal," or "Svarga is a place where there is no heat, cold, fatigue, or enemies." Consequently, they speak sweet words among themselves, such as, "We will enjoy with the Apsaras." Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Shakshun Militam Jene Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manudistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sva Padantikam. with pride in wealth, power, good birth, education, renunciation, beauty, strength, and performance of rituals, they become foolish and cruel and disrespect the devotees along with the Lord. This is a description which also we find in the Bhagavad Gita, the 16th chapter. How people lose the proper understanding Rajasa Gora Sankalpa Kamuka Ahimanyava Dambika Manina Papa Vibhashanti Achyuta Priyan. Achyuta Priyan, it's dear to Achyuta. Due to the influence of the mode of passion, they become subject to violent desires and excessively lusty. Their anger is like that of a snake, deceitful, overly proud, and sinful in their behavior. They mock the devotees. Commentary. These people make terrible vows such as, this enemy should die, to the increase of Rajaguna. They have snake-like anger with ever-increasing anger. They wear beads made of wood and beg to fill their bellies, while worshipping Vishnu. In this way, they only attain sufferings. They mock the devotees. Vadanti te nyonyam upasita striyo griheshu maitunya pareshu sashisha jayanti ashrishtamna vidana dakshinam vityai param dinanti pashun atatvida. Translation. Adoring women in their homes dedicated to sex life. They give each other blessings and perform sacrifice without distributing food or gifts, and kill animals to make a living, not being aware that it is sinful. Commentary. They worship young women instead of great sages. They give each other blessings such as, may you have wealth, garlands, sandalwood, and woman. In their houses, sex life is the ultimate engagement. They perform sacrifices in which there is no distribution of food or donations. They kill goats in order to make a living without understanding that killing is wrong. Loke vyava yamashya matya seva nitya hi jantur nahi shastra chodana vyavashtitis tesu vivaha yakya shura grahair ashu nivritir ishta. In this world, people are always attracted to sex, meat eating, and intoxication. This is not a rule in the scriptures, but an arrangement through marriage and sacrifice so that they can eventually give up these acts. Commentary. Why are sex life and meat eating condemned if they are prescribed in the Vedas. It is said, Ritor Varyam Upeyat. One should approach one's wife in her season. Ashvalayana Shrauta Sutra. It is also said, Hutta Shesham Bhakshayet. One should eat the remnants of sacrifice. Sex life, meat eating, and intoxication are always attractive, and always indulged in sex is natural, and meat eating and intoxication are indulged in because of family tradition. There is thus need of an injunction for attaining these items. Chodana means an order to attain which one does not have. But it is seen in the Vedas that there are orders to indulge in sex. Arrangements have been made for sex, meat eating, and intoxication through weddings and sacrifices. If it is impossible to remain without sex, meat, and intoxication, arrangements are made through marriage and sacrifice. Shruti says, Shautramanyam Shudagraham Grinati. One drinks liquor in the Shautramani sacrifice. Permission alone is given for these acts, so it is actually not an order or vidhi. The goal is extinction of sex, meat eating, and intoxication. One should approach one's wife, but only at the time of when the wife can bear children, avoiding 5 inauspicious days, only at night, and only when there is a desire for children. This is done with the intention of giving up these desires. Vidir adyantam aprapto niyama pakshike shati tatra chanyatra cha prapto parishankya vidiyate. Vidis are rules which are not absolute. Niyama is a rule with partial prohibition. In that condition, where there are options, it is called parishankya. For those who are completely attached to enjoyment through karmas, vidis, means injunctions which are not absolute because of desire or other rules. Examples are as follows. One should perform sandhya rites daily. One should take baths in a river during Magha months. One should not bathe at night. One should bathe during an eclipse of the moon. In cases where there are no options but to perform the act, it is not called a vidhi but a niyama or parishankya. When it is niyama or parishankya, where one does not have alternatives and will receive criticism or be obliged to do atonement for not performing the act, it is called a niyama. An example is as follows. One should approach one's wife at the proper time. At the proper time means if one has attraction. However, there is a partial prohibition. For Smriti says, Ritu snatam tuyo varyam sanidau nu pagachati gaurayam brunahatyayam paschachate natra samsaya. Oh, this is a long purport. One should not approach one's wife during her menstrual cycle. Without doubt, such a person will suffer like a killer of a brahmana. The final meaning is one should approach one's wife when one has desire, but not during the menstrual cycle. Tatra means within that. Other than this, where there are conditions within the obligatory rule, it is called parishankhya. One should eat 5 types of animals with 5 nails. When one has a desire to eat meat, one should eat only 5 animals with 5 nails and not others. This is a permission to eat meat under those conditions, but there is no fault in not eating meat. For persons fixed in renunciation of material enjoyment, there is another meaning. A vidhi exists where there is a complete necessity to perform action. An example is, one should perform sandhya rites daily. Where there is partial options or partial necessity of performance, it is called niyama. Imam agrapinan rasanam ritashyat. One takes the rope of the animal to be sacrificed. The singular case indicates a choice of horse or donkey. Of these, the horse is preferred, not the donkey. The prohibition of a donkey is implied. There are 2 types of vidhi, apurva vidhi and niyama vidhi. What is parishankhya? That is explained. Rules that exist other than vidhi, given permission where there is a desire, are called parishankha. When one has a desire to eat all meat, eating 5 types of animals with 5 nails is prescribed. Other animals should not be eaten. Eating them produces sin. For eating meat, 5 animals with 5 nails are permitted. No sin is incurred in that. The conclusion of scriptures for eating all meat is that it is limited, since it gives permission for certain meat only. One should approach one's wife and not others' wife for procreation, and not otherwise. The conclusion of scripture is that one approaches one's wife, but not any woman. One hears of fault if one does not approach one's wife when she is fertile. But this is not a fault, because it does not transgress the rule. However, if one does not approach one's wife because of hatred or distaste, there is a fault, according to Sridhar Swami. Om Gyanati Minandasya Gyanam Jana Shalakaya Shakshun Militam Tinejam Smaya Sri Gurave Namaha. It just goes on and on. Srimad Bhagavatam here is giving so many guidelines. The outstanding purpose of wealth is dharma, from which arises knowledge and realization, after which one attains liberation. However, they employ wealth for maintaining their bodies and do not see unsurmountable death of the body. Commentary. They are unintelligent because they are used wealth for material pleasure. Dharma is wealth's outstanding resource. From Dharma arises spiritual knowledge along with realization, from which liberation arises later. However, they are wealth for maintaining their bodies and other purposes in their houses. Yat granna bhakshya vihita shurayastata pasor alabanam nahingsa evam vyavaha prajaya naratya imam vishudam navidu swadharmanam. Translation. Liquor is to be consumed by smelling, and animals' limbs are cut during sacrifice, but they are not killed. Sex is permitted for producing children, not for enjoyment. The people do not know their duties which purify their acts. Permission for sex, meat and liquor is not for full indulgence, but rather the opposite. Smelling liquor is considering drinking it. One does not drink as much as one can. Sacrifice of an animal means to cut a limb, not to kill it. Sex is for producing children, not for enjoyment. Those sinful persons who are ignorant of actual religious principle, yet consider themselves to be completely pious, without compunction, commit violence against innocent animals who are fully trusting in them, will be eaten by the same creatures in their next lives. And this is a very important information which has been confirmed by many cultures around the world. They do not know the Dharma described, not understanding the meaning of the statements like violence prescribed by scripture is not violence. They kill living animals. The animals think our protectors will not kill us. They are playing with us by showing weapons as a joke. Having given face to the animals they protected, they kill them. After death, in the next life, the animals will eat them. It is said, Mangsa Bhakshayita Mutrya Yasya Mangsam Ihatmi Aham Itam Mamshasya Mangshatvam Pravadanti Manishina. The wise will say that meat is called Mangsa because in next life I will eat the flesh of he who has eaten me. That is the mantra they have to repeat before they kill an animal. Narada, by his power of yoga, showed Prachini Barhisha the animals he had sacrificed. Bo bhajat patera jan pashun pasya Tvayatvare samyak pitam jiva sangam nigri rina sahasrasha. O protector of the people, O king, look at these animals, thousands of jiva, killed by you in sacrifice without mercy. Ete tvam sapi sampratikshante smananto vaishasham tava samparetvam atyakutais Chindanti Utitamanyava. Remembering how you killed them, the animals are waiting for you to die. With great anger they will tear you apart with their horns made of iron. Same verse also appears in the Mahabharata. Killing animals and hating the Lord, bound by affection to their bodies and relatives, they fall to hell. Those who do not have jnana for liberation, who are not utterly foolish, become absorbed in artha, dharma and kama. Without any time for hearing about the Lord, they kill themselves. The killer of the soul, never peaceful and thinking themselves full of knowledge, though they are ignorant, not doing their real duties, with their desires destroyed by time, continually suffer. The ignorant, getting mercy from those who know the truth, are delivered. Those who know the truth and are naturally delivered. But those who are not so ignorant, but do not know the truth, who exist between ignorance and knowledge, fall. That is explained in this verse. Those who do not have knowledge, but by which to attain liberation, but who are not foolish like animals, become attached to dharma, artha and kama, not to jnana and bhakti. Let that be. When an opportunity arises, they will hear about the Lord. No, they will not obtain even a moment's opportunity. They kill themselves. Srila B.A. ki Jai. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Bhastaya Bhutale Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pichanini Nirvishesha Shunyavati Paskatyati Satani. There's a very interesting way of the Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto to describe the situation in this world. Actually, in this world, there are so many desires. And all these desires, they tie us. They're like strings. Like you see sometimes a big bull, very powerful bull, but he has a ring in the nose, and the nose is very sensitive, and the little child has a rope to the nose ring and pulls, and the little big bull does everything the child says because of the pain in the nose. The pain. Okay. Even the little child is there, you know. Sometimes you see that, it looks very funny. Huh? How the big bull is running after or doing what the little child said. So the desires in this world, they tie us. And to overcome those desires is the process of bhakti yoga. So if somebody really wants to eat meat, the scriptures say, yes, you can do like this, like this, like this, like this, but you'll be eaten afterwards, okay? So they give a permission, but they also give the information. What will come from that? Is that really good for you? Like, all the things have its purpose. Everything in this world fulfilled certain desires, but also demand certain attention. And therefore the Srimad Bhagavatam is giving us all these practical examples. When I read it, it pains me to hear that certain animals can be killed and eaten. It pains me because I belong to the non-violence movement against the animals. But I also know that the Srimad Bhagavatam is above me. It is above my non-violence concepts. So if the scriptures have given that permission, that it's to channelize that not everybody become a cow killer. Because becoming a cow killer is the worst of all. But really, it is not recommending the killing of any animal. On the contrary, it's trying to decrease the desire of killing animal and having illicit sex life. It is all a divine plan. Yeah. No pasa nada, no mejor nada. So the different restrictions given in the yogic process, they are to help us to become detached. And the process is very nice. But we also know that this is a long life with long periods, with many tests, and therefore the scriptures have given us the protection prescribed, and the number one protection of all is chanting Hare Krishna. This is the number one protection method, and associating with sadhus and listening to Harikatha. But there is some subtle informations in here, and I want to talk a little bit about this today. The subtlety is that you may be chanting, you may be listening, you may be talking with others about the Vedas, but maybe there's some pride inside. Maybe you're just attracted by the flowery words, or like, oh, we are Brahmins now. Oh, we are superior than others. By the grace of our Guru, we are already gotten out of the world of attachment and things like that. The flowery words of the Vedas are very attractive, and they give so many different hints. But in the end of the day, there is a very wonderful invitation, which is become the eternal servant of God alone. Become attached to God. Instead of being attached to anything in this world, be attached to the Lord. Why should you be attached to having money? Hey, you're going to lose it all. Nothing is going to be with you. Why you should be attached to a beautiful house? Any earthquake, plop, 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 and the whole thing falls down. I've seen it in Mexico. Big buildings, 7 stories. In 5 minutes, there were no more. There were just a little rubble high on the ground. So it is like that, you know. Everything in this world is shaky. And we can see how dangerous and how shaky everything is. So why being attached to your prestige, to your honor? This is also shaky. Everything is shaky. So as we chant Hare Krishna, as we associate with devotees, we also have to be very careful about the quality. What quality of chanting is it? What quality of hearing is it? What quality of association it is? This is important because sometimes we listen to the music, but of the chanting, the holy names, but we're listening to the sweet musical sound, but we are not thinking of the holy names. Especially in music that takes place. Some extraordinary musical performance in the name of Krishna, with the name of Krishna, but people are just listening to the sweet sound, but they're not thinking, oh my Lord, please let me be an instrument of your love. No. Now it's another thing which is a little bit more complicated. That is the life of a temple manager. Temple manager, community manager, temple president, sannyasis, gurus. We are all potentially victims to this. What is it? That you think that your management is more important than the inside quality. You think we have printed thousands of books. We have distributed books everywhere. Now we are better devotees than those who are cleaning the pots in the temple. But the one cleaning in the pots in the temple is always crying, oh Krishna, only thing I can do is clean your pots. And Krishna is always having him in his arms. And the manager, we have done millions of books, now we are the big managers. And Krishna says, okay, thanks. That was enough. That was enough of your pride performance. Now, I'm saying this, and I must honestly tell you, I'm speaking from personal experience. So, after you experience something, you have a better way of explaining it than if you just read it and you're talking about some theory. So, when you are talking about the scriptures, then there is a certain beauty, charm, poetry, something very beautiful. But there's also ego, there's also name and fame. Now, he's a famous kirtaniya. Everybody wants to hear his kirtan. So, he's already walking like this. Anybody wants to hear my kirtan? So then his kirtan is no more real kirtan. It is just a musical ego performance. La 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 la, Radhe. And then everybody, But it's not anymore the essence of what this is all about. What the scriptures are saying about chanting, praying, crying for mercy has something different. But it has become a show. Speaking has become a show, singing has become a show, managing has become a show, big mission has become a show, but Not necessarily. It is not necessarily that way. But it's danger. And how do you know there's danger? How do you know? Very simple. When you become angry, that means that wasn't good. If your lust increases, you know that wasn't good. So Kama Isha, Krodha Isha, Rajaguna, Samudbhavan, it's very clearly explained. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, by contemplating the objects of the senses, we develop attachment for them. From that attachment, anger arises. So, sometimes we notice people, they are called chochos or grunyones. They are old and angry. Why? Well, because they could not get the satisfaction and now they want to put their anger on others for that they could not fulfill their life's desires or whatever. And they will be born again next life, another try. Any kind of angry is not good. And if there's lust, it has to be dovetailed to preaching by making sankirtan. Collecting, preaching, say all this is Krishna's, it all belongs to Krishna. It's not, we're talking about the real situation, real life situations, This is what every devotee experiences. These are the trials and errors every devotee comes across. And that's why the Bhagavatam is explaining it, what's okay, what's not okay. So if you want to have a child, there is no mistake in that. That's beautiful. That's why everybody celebrates when a child is born. This is the greatest joy. A child is born, a child is born, the Sannyasis blessed, the Grihasthas are happy, the women are smiling, everybody's happy because a new baby was born. So that means there is a function, a sacred function of this. And in that sacred function, everything is okay. Now, in the scripture, it is put on the same level, presented as wanting to take liquor or wanting to eat meat. That is surprising, no? And we find out that the devas, celestial planets, they are also indulged. I don't think they eat meat, I don't know exactly, but there is intoxication for sure. And there is sex life for sure. Otherwise, why we talk about apsaras? And they are saying, oh, we wish you many apsaras. What kind of a blessing is that? But in the material world, like when people are in the business world, they say, hey, how's your business going? Good, great. I'm also trying. And they're like, money is honey for them. So they think this is most important. But according to scripture, so this is also wealth, drugs, sex, and meat eating. These are the reasons why the Gurudev gives us 4 regulated principles. That's as simple as it is. It is like a logic is there, a very clear logic. And the logic is according to scripture. Because you renounce illicit sex life, but you don't renounce grihastha life if you want to get married. You renounce liquor, but you don't renounce Varuni on Balaram's appearance day. And you renounce any kind of meat eating, but the Kali Bhaktas, like in Bengal, so many, they are eating goat meat offered to Kali. That is their business. That's what they want. I mean, let's say somebody comes to me and says, Gurudev, I cannot live without meat. I cannot live, I must kill and eat. If you don't allow this to me, then I will do anything. If somebody comes to me like this, it never happened. But if something, I say, hey Baba, go to Calcutta, go to Kalighat, and be part of a goat sacrifice. And then you can eat some of this goat meat which was offered to Kali. But don't forget, you'll be born as a goat later and the goat can kill you too. Okay? Okay, then I will do it. But in Bengal it's full, they're doing it everywhere. They're doing it in the temple and outside the temple. And it has become almost a fashion. When I traveled through South India, I was surprised how little vegetarians are there. I went to Burdwan, next to Mayapur, only 2 hours maximum. And in all the big city, there was only one vegetarian restaurant. One. Arup knew it. He says, oh, they have vegetarian. Everybody else says, I cannot believe it. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's place. This is where he would go around and they are not vegetarian. Oh, Krishna. When I came to Bogota, there was also only one vegetarian restaurant. 1979. Now vegetarian is everywhere. Spoon revolution ki jai. So, like when I went to South India, this is also, it was said here in the Bhagavatam here, that there is family tradition. Some silly, karmic family tradition. So, there is some people, when a son is born in the family, then one has to offer an animal to the Kula Devata. And in South India they do that even today. They offer animals to the Kula Devata, which is some kind of village ghost. I don't know who's the Kula Devata really. I don't know, but they have it. Each family has a Kula Devata. And those who are not surrendered to the Vaishnava line of thinking, they follow those traditions. So you see, the whole thing of getting rid of attachment is not exactly easy. Even in India, is not exactly easy. And that's why these restrictions are given. In a way, by meeting Prabhupada and starting to become members of his Sankirtan movement, we have been so blessed. Yesterday, we heard the stories of Vaishnava Seva, smuggling Krishna's books from Venezuela to all the countries in South and Central America for the big Sankirtan. And how he had to go with the books through the Venezuelan border control, Colombian border control, the guerrilla border control. He had to meet so many people, and they all wanted money and all wanted to stop the items from going through. But when they met the Vaishnavas, all their hearts melted and they let the books go through. 100 times or more. We have lost the count how many times we've taken the books from Venezuela to everywhere, because printing in Venezuela was very cheap at that time. So Venezuela got some very Sukriti points by providing cheap literature of Krishna consciousness around. So, yes, Vaishnava Seva was telling us these stories yesterday. I was completely amazed. I knew it was going on, but I didn't know to what degree. And also, if you do not hear it, I mean, going from Maracaibo to Maicao, this is all criminal territory. There is no law and order in these areas. Completely controlled by people with their whim. Whoever has a firearm, they do whatever they like. It's like guajiros. We know the guajiros, they don't have much law. Huh? It is simply, oh, you should listen to translation. There is translation out there. Hay traducción allá. Huh? You understand? Good. So, los guajiros, heavy people. Huh? And that's where the books went through. All the books went from Venezuela through the Guajira to the rest of South America. This is historic. This will go into the Vaishnava history books, how the transcendental literature was distributed in that time. That is much more an interesting story than Che Guevara traveling through South America and discovering some injustices and then going to Cuba and throwing out the dictator together with Fidel Castro and establishing a new dictatorship, socialistic dictatorship. I mean, what's the good thing in that? I mean, the Cubans don't like it, that's why they all want to get out, and the Venezuelans don't like it, that's why millions of Venezuelans are out of Venezuela, because this imposed socialism is no answer. The answer is the higher taste, and this is what we are trying to accomplish. We are trying to get the higher taste, a higher taste than money, a higher taste than name and fame, a higher taste than enjoying sex, a higher taste than liquor and intoxication, a higher taste than ayahuasca or peyote or San Pedro. A higher taste means something more fantastic. There is something more fantastic. What is that? Divine love. But divine love means the spirit of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna Das Kaviraj, Vrindavan Das Thakur, the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, Hari Das Thakur, Prabhupada, the spirit of sacrifice for the welfare of others. This is, we have seen it, it is working. It is a reality. There is a higher taste. Otherwise, how can we live as brahmacharis for 10 years? Tell me. How could we live at 10 years brahmachari if there is no higher taste? What to speak about 20 years, 30 years? But one also has to be very careful that you don't see the external part and you lose the context with the internal part. And coming back to my example of the temple president. When you're temple president, when you're very busy, then your quality of your chanting rounds may go down. The quality of listening to the scripture may go down. The quality of your Vaishnava association, like many temples, stop having Ishtagostis. Why? Istagosti is the sweetest thing. We meet with Vaishnavas and discuss. Here in Vrindavan, I was speaking this morning with the Damodar Acharya of the Jiva Goswami's temple, Radha Damodar. And I said, we don't have Istagosti here in Vrindavan to discuss how to take care of Vrindavan. We don't have Istagosti in Mayapur with the temple leaders to discuss how to take care of Mayapur. We only have discussion for 1 or 2 festivals a year. And already that is a big trial. We don't have Istagosti in the temple, then the temple quality is going down. If there's one person who decides everything, and that person may have big trouble later, because he may not decide everything for the pleasure of the devotees. He may decide things for whoever, his own ego or whatever there. So this is a very important thing to consider. Very important. If there is no Istagosti, if there's no Brahminical guardians, you know, if there's no Brahminical guardians, there's no Istagosti. And if there's no Istagosti, there's no Brahminical guardians. So when there's no Brahminical guardians, means there is an ego which is going out the sky. It's piercing the boundaries of bhakti and going into the ego world. That is the simple way of understanding. And on your private, personal, individual way, you can see if lust is strong in me, then I'm not chanting good enough. I'm not serving good enough. And if I get angry, worse. If I start getting angry and I give hard time to others, I'm not chanting enough. I'm not associating enough. And association, like we have many associations. Association doesn't mean you go to a bandara to eat the feast. Association means you go and listen if there's some real good devotee saying some real good guidance. And the philosophy is also like that. You can hear the philosophy filtered and you can hear the philosophy as it is. If it brings you down to your reality, then you're listening to the philosophy as it is. Like I want to chant my rounds, I want to chant crying like the Goswamis did. I want to listen and understand the real moods. I want to be a servant of the servant of the servant. I don't want to be the master of anybody. I don't want to tell you do this, you do that because I'm in charge. This is not what I want. Then you're getting without filter. As soon as you listen with filter, you think, oh, those who are serving Krishna are great. Those who have responsibility, they are the best devotees. I have responsibility. Those who overthink of Krishna, they are almost in the spiritual world already. And then I think that I may be thinking of Krishna all day. But what kind of thinking of Krishna is it? Is it real? Is it sincere? Is it profound? Is it humble? Or maybe you're just bothering Krishna. Or you're not thinking of him. You just think you're thinking of him. In other words, I'm saying...
What is bothering? What is bothering?
Bothering, disturbing. So, the quality of seva. And I say that specially warning for the temple presidents, sannyasis, etc. Because we have so much responsibility, sometimes we end up vibrating on that superficial platform and not in the deeper concern. And then there will be a lack of taste. And when there's a lack of taste, then we are entering into a dangerous region. In that dangerous region, we are looking for other things which are not bhakti tastes, which are not the highest, what Krishna wants. So, but this is happening again and again and again. It's not my problem, it's everybody's problem. It's the problem of every conditioned soul. And that's why the Bhagavatam speaks. I was embarrassed when I read these verses today. I was feeling, oh my God, how am I going to explain this? Huh? But it's the Bhagavatam, so I couldn't say, oh, I go a few verses ahead, maybe I have a more easier topic to talk about. But no, this was the verse, so I surrendered. It's okay. And I know it from experience that if you get too busy with external things, too busy with this and that, then the quality of your own bhajan goes down. And then it's very difficult to have all your concentration. So in this way, a profound warning coming from the Bhagavatam. Yes, you should be a great devotee. Yes, you should be a great manager. Yes, you should take responsibility. But remain humble. Remain polite. Don't make others ever feel bad. Chant your rounds profoundly. Do listen carefully. Don't think I'm so advanced I don't have to listen to the classes anymore. Some devotees think, oh, I don't listen to the classes, but I'm watching a movie. Or something. Of course, a devotional movie, no? But no. We need the essence. And the essence is there in the love. In the loving family. A loving family means love for everyone. Doesn't matter who they are, what they look like. There's gotta be love for everyone. And what does it mean? Scriptures say, give everything. Dadati pratigri nati gu Yama kyati prichati. Give your love, give your love. Even those who are not devotees, I understood it. All you need is love. But what kind of love? Beetle love? Hippie love? No. We need Krishna Bhakti love. Pure love. The highest love. The highest taste. So I pray to Krishna and to my Guru Deva that I may find that highest taste so I can be his sevaka now and forever. Not to become proud of your position. Sannyasi, poor sannyasis. Everyone offers respect to them. Hi Maharaj here, Maharaj there, eat this, eat that. Maharaj, you're so nice. Oh Maharaj, you inspired me after I listened to your class. Oh Maharaj, when will you come back, Maharaj? So the Maharajas, they get bombarded with ego attacks. I mean, it may not be their ego yet, but it's an attack on the ego. Will you respond? Nobody tells the sannyasi, hey, you wait outside. You eat in half an hour when everybody's ready. Nobody tells it. Oh no, Maharaj, come first. Here, you sit down. So, the sannyasis, what to speak of the Guru? Everybody, Guru Deva, do whatever you say. Amazing. The Vaishnava association, it's good, it's necessary. But how difficult it is not to become proud. I've been going around India for the last 30 years, everybody saying, oh, Paramadvaiti Maharaj, he has many temples. Oh, Everybody thinks I'm rich. They don't know what South America looks like. They don't know our reality we live in, because in India a temple means more or less they're rich. Most temples are rich. Not every temple, they also have a few poor temples here, but most temples. So when the people in India hear temples in the West, they think you have a Rolls Royce at every corner parked for you. Something like that. So they cannot imagine that, what it means, preaching in Bolivia in the street. Or in La Guajira. They have no idea. So, but anyhow, so much respect. And then there's another problem. This is also, I confess to you, this is personal. When you're in a position and you see the other people around you, how they perform, how this sannyasi performs, how this mission is going on different levels, you have different things you see. Like I was very upset with many things going on in Vrindavan, because I saw so much mediocrity, infighting, politics. People were interested in their issue, but not in the real Vrindavan, not in the Yamuna. And I must say that's very difficult then. When you see those who you're supposed to be admiring, the temple acharyas and all that, and then you go to an acharya and he doesn't care at all for the Yamuna. Or can we do something for Ganga? No time. So you lose the respect when you have expectation. If you approach any person with an expectation, then if that expectation is not fulfilled, you lose the respect to some degree. And that happened to me. And that made me suffer. And suddenly it built up my ego. Because it made me think, okay, I lost some respect for this person, but that respect I deserve because I'm doing this. But then it becomes a cause of pride. Then it becomes your pride, and then you become more and more proud. Oh yes, I'm doing, they are not doing. I'm doing, they are not doing. So in the end you think, I'm better than them. And how can you be better than them if you have no love for Krishna, no tears are coming from your eyes when you chant the holy name. You have no divine knowledge of the eternal truth. Only you're repeating what you have heard from your Guru Deva by his kindness. So this is a little bit, if you listen carefully between the lines, you can understand how hard it is to be a sannyasi. How hard it is to be a temple president. How hard it is to be a spiritual master. And always give a good example, and always get up for Mangal Arti, and always read the scriptures, and always only eat prasada, and. So anyhow, I'm very thankful to read the Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto. It's very purifying. And I hope with my confession and explanation, it'll work as a warning for you to do your temple president, to do your seva with care and caution, and make sure, yes, I have this responsibility, but I am not better than the devotees in my temple. And I am not better than the other temple president who is doing the same service somewhere else. And I'm not better than the sannyasi who is doing the other thing. He may not sing so nice as you. He may not manage as nice as you. He may not have as much Lakshmi as you. But he may be better than you. Better you think he's better? Or you make friends with him, but don't think that you are better. Because as soon as you get the conclusion that I'm better than this one or that one, then it is on your devotional career an arrow. And every arrow brings some consequence, because our Krishna is so merciful, he doesn't allow us to live with arrow. He exposes the arrow for purification, so that we can correct our error and go back to home, back to Godhead, and serve the Vaishnavas until the very end of our life, by doing what your Guru expects you to do. Because last not least, we are made by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. We belong to him. Everything we do is due to him, and the results are meant to be offered to him. And how kind has he been? How much has he helped us? Madhusudan Maharaj, for example, working with me since more than 20 years, 25 or so. How many times have we been able to come to India to see the Holy Land? How many times have we seen the Trulis in Peru? How many times have we seen Gauranga Radha Brajeswara? Krishna has taken us on palanquins. You could say an airplane is a kind of a palanquin, no? They just carry you from one country to another. Can you imagine, no discomfort. Unbelievable, these airplanes, how they take us to another place of service. So this is what I wanted to give to you this morning by the grace of Srimad Bhagavatam Vishwanath Chakravarti. And I know we don't have to do anything which takes us away from Krishna, because we got Prabhupada. Therefore, we do not have to worship Kula Devatas. We do not have to worship Kali and eat meat. We do not have to smell liquor. We do not have to take ayahuasca. We do not have to make anything which our Guru and Krishna is not blessing, but we can go all the way back to service divine. Yes, with great gratefulness, joy, and some tears.